Hello and welcome back to the Frontliners. Today we'll talk about the Supermarine Spitfires. Supermarine Spitfires are a British aircraft, a very famous one. And before we talk about anything else, this is too small for me and we don't need it. Yeet! Okay, gonna leave it over there for now. So, well, many people when they talk about vehicles such as plane, tanks, or whatever war vehicle they can think of, definitely think about the triangle of death. The triangle of death is first mobility, firepower, and protection. This is for the tanks. For the plane, it's quite the same. So when you think about this, most of the people think about these three, but you can't just think about these three and consider the plane to be good or bad by these. You can't do it because a plane that is very good for this country may be extremely bad for another country because of many reasons, such as the cost of each aircraft. So we're going to have an overall look on the Spitfires and many topics about the Spitfires. Let's have a look, shall we? So what is the story of the Spitfires? The stories go back in 1931 when the RAF won a plane that can reach the top speed of 400 kilometers per hour. It needs to have a retractable landing gear, and also the design needs to be modern enough to catch up with the German that is rapidly growing its power. So this Arthur Mitchell, one of the designers for the RAF, have come up with a design. It's the Spitfires. The Spitfires first have its test flight in 1935. Its elliptical wing is a revolutionary design, causing the plane to be faster without increasing the engine power. The Spitfire performed very well, so finally it entered service in 1938. But the amount of the Spitfires in storage for war is quite low. So when the war finally came, the British had to use a mixed group of fighter. Now we'll have a look at the Spitfire firepower. The early version of the Spitfires were equipped with 8 7.7 Browning machine guns. These machine guns proved quite effective against the early German aircraft such as the Bf 109 and the German Heinkel 111. But these armaments were quickly outdated by time scale. So the British invented the 20mm Hispano cannons. These Hispano cannons will replace two of the 7.7 Browning machine gun on one wing. So that means now the Spitfire have two Hispano cannons and four 7.7 Browning machine guns. But finally, when almost at the end of the war now, the Spitfires, the Mark 9, the late version of the Mark 9, received an upgrade. The Spitfire late Mark 9 received four 20mm Hispano cannon, but now it have lost over 7.7mm Browning machine guns. Now we'll have a look at the mobility and the maneuverability of the Spitfires. The Spitfire's elliptical wing have a faster speed than the older plane with the old type of wings, and with the Spitfire's revolutionary design and its great speed, the Spitfire have extremely good maneuverability. It's very fast too, at a speed of 586 kilometers per hour for the early version. But its adversary is the German Me 109. Both planes' statistics are very close to each other, but still, Spitfire have one fatal flaw in its maneuverability. If you have seen this movie before, you may notice in the opening scene that when the Spitfire pilot trying to do an over-G maneuvers, when he go like this, when he turn upside down, the Spitfire engine will stop working for a short period of time and the black smoke will come out because the engine suffered a damage. Because the oil will go into an engine and causing an engine break for a short period of time. Or if you're unlucky, your engine will cut and you have to try to get yourself back to the airfield. So the Me 109, the German fighter pilot, noticed this problem and they tried to get the Spitfire into an over-G maneuver. So when the Spitfire pilot accidentally did that or do it on purpose, the Spitfire engine will stop working, and now is a chance for the Me 109 to attack. The Spitfire have been designed as a short-range interceptor for the RAF, and also the Spitfire have been in all the theater during the war. It have been in the Pacific, it have been in the Eastern Front fighting with the Soviets, it have been in North African campaign, also in Europe, D-Day, and everywhere you can think of. So the Spitfire is also well loved by their pilots. It have been manufactured by Supermarine, and also 20,000 were built. The production didn't stop until 1948, and the Spitfires stay in active service until the last squadron had been retired in 1951 by the Irish. There's also a variant called the Seafire. The Seafire is a Spitfire modified for carrier. So now the Spitfire can operate on carrier, and the British fleet now have a high-performance fighter with them. You have been watching my video for some time now, and you may ask, Mike, what do you mean? It's just a normal World War II fighter. What's made this thing interesting? It's a multi-role fighter. What is really important about this? What made it famous? So the story, you have to go back to World War II 1940, during the Battle of Britain. When German bombers bombing England at a devastating level, without the Spitfire, the people morale and the country would have been lost, would have been long gone. With the Spitfire, causing high casualty on the German Luftwaffe, and also saved the British people by destroying so many German aircraft and bombers, the Germans stopped Operation Sea Lion, and the British ISIL was safe. Without the Spitfire, the British ISIL would have been conquered and England would lost. Thanks to the famous Spitfire, many other RAF aircraft during the Battle of Britain, and their brave pilots and brave personnel from the RAF. Without them, the British people would never prevail in the darkest time in their history. They have saved countless lives. Winston Churchill once said, "Never was so much owned by so many to so few to the RAF pilots." This is like the Frontliner. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!